Paddy Power stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC. Unlike some other high street bookies, Paddy Power, you beauty!
Hello and welcome to this week's Monday Postcast. I'm Maddie Plale and on the couch I'm joined by Lee Mottershead. Nick Watts has had enough of us. He's sick of us and he's decided to leave. We've got Tom Segal as well and Tom Nugent from Paddy Power. What have we all been up to this week? Let's start with you, Tom. I think you said you were up to something interesting, didn't you?
Well, depends what you're talking about, Maddie. Well, not that much interesting. Lots of watching horses, lots of watching bargain hunt. Andrew Cooper was on it the other day, I noticed. How about that? Clerk of the course at Epsom. I didn't think he'd have time to go on bargain hunt, but there he is. And just basically kid stuff, but nothing too exciting.
Kid stuff. What about you, Lee?
What have I been doing? So Saturday I went to Ascot, had a very nice day there. Quite a low-key car, but it was good fun. Went into their new shop.
Yes, I read about this, yeah.
They've got a new signature shop. Sort of by the bandstand end of the paddock.
And what do they sell?
Well, they sell most things that we can't afford.
No.
So
you can't afford.
Oh, well, sorry, I forget.
You read you bought something.
No, I did. I bought two.
You can't afford it, but you bought it anyway.
I bought a set of 4 napkins because we hadn't got any napkins. And, you know, when you have people around for dinner, it looks bad, I always think, if you have to give them a roll of kitchen roll.
So
we bought
napkins.
We bought napkins and I bought 2 tea towels and then got a rollicking from the other half who says we've got too many tea towels. He says I come back from places with mugs and tea towels and we can't fit now the mugs in the mug cupboard and the tea towels sort of pile. So basically, he wants to throw away tea towels.
First world problems here.
Yeah.
Very, very much.
So it was Saturday afternoon. Saturday night I was watching Eurovision.
Oh, for God's sake.
winner.
I thought we were going to get through without that. It's only gone 2 minutes.
The Portuguese boy I found was really good. Beautiful song, beautiful singer.
Oh, shut up,
And then
Mossy.
yesterday, after the column, did a bit of gardening.
Lovely.
I've got
I have
mint
to
expanding
confess,
around the garden.
Well, you know, that's fantastic if that's what you do. I'm not sure I was expecting that when I said,
Well,
what have you been doing this week?
asked the question.
Very true. Tom Nugent, what about you? Can you bring some sense into this sort of mess already?
Absolutely not, unfortunately. Everyone seems to have had far more interesting weekends than myself now. I was housebound with family Catholic issues, so that was my weekend, really.
Catholic issues?
Well, that's...
Yeah. My goddaughter's communion.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's quite civilised compared to the rest of us,
What did
probably.
you do?
Work. I've been
Both
working.
days?
Yeah, I'm always working. You know, always.
Young and enthusiastic.
Slave to the game. Right. We are going to look ahead to the Dante, and we're going to look back at the weekend's action. Let's start off with the Dante on Thursday. First, we've got to talk about Cracksman. I loved his run at Epsom. I was a little bit sort of confused about it in the first place, but what did you make of him, Lee?
Yeah, I thought the final furlong was quite exciting, the way he got going. But we should say he only got there in the final stride or two. And if he'd finished second, then his profile would look very different, albeit for a few inches.
Very true.
I spoke with Anthony Hoppenheimer this morning for a Racing Post story. Now, he did say, I might have more to tell you in the afternoon. Now, we're speaking before my second conversation with him. So it could well be that what I'm saying now is old news after I've spoken to him, but listeners, just bear with us. His point was, it was quite interesting. He said, going into the Dante with Golden Horn, his worry was, will the horse stay the Derby distance? And he didn't think he would. He says,
I remember that, yeah.
He says with Cracksman, his worry is the horse good enough for the Derby? He was quite downbeat, and he said, I wouldn't be at all surprised if the horse finishes place but doesn't win and then we don't go on to Epsom. And he said, the one I really fear is this Sir Evelyn de Rothschild horse. Another one for Crystal Ocean.
I was just about to bring that up. Tom S., what do we make of this massive Crystal Ocean gamble? He's about 3-1 now, I think. It's ridiculous.
Look, it's just typical of what happens these days, isn't it, Maddie? You know, the prices are everyone prices up. It's Tom N's fault. All his firm price up these races miles in advance, and the boys that know the inside get to take the big prices, while we're all left scrambling around at the day with 3-1. Look, he might be very good. He looked good at Nottingham, didn't he? I think the horse that he beat came out and won or something. Did something okay the other day.
Yeah, a cool at Nottingham.
Yeah, it was only a rubbish little race. But look, he's bred to be brilliant. We spoke to, or I don't know, wasn't me personally, but one of the lads spoke, might have been Lee himself, spoke to Sir Michael Stout when we were doing our sort of anti-post preview. And he didn't mention Crystal Ocean. Now that might have been a ruse on his part, or it might have been. I presumed he was sort of thinking Ascot, because it's the Rothschilds. The whole family have been Ascot horses, Hill Star and Crystal Capella. They all ran at Ascot. I wondered whether he thought that might be the route they were going at the time. But maybe he's done a piece. He's obviously done some work since then, and it's obviously gone extremely well. So yeah, why not? I mean, it's a maiden winner. They're all about the same. I don't think in this day and age, I don't think there's that many good, strong, staying horses on the flat. So why not give him a crack? 3-1. Look, you can't. For me, he's not a 3-1 price because he's got no form, but you're quite prepared to see him win.
Yeah. I've got a sneaky fancy for this race, but I think it'd be a good idea if we go to Tom N. I'm going to have to refer to latter initials now to stop confusion.
You could be a school mom, just call them by their surname. Nugent.
I was considering that.
Yeah, but you'll pronounce mine wrong, as usual.
How do you pronounce your name?
Siegel.
I'm sorry.
Siegel rhymes with legal or regal or any of those things.
I'm not the only one who does that.
No.
I've
Now,
noticed.
in the betting shops of Ireland, Tom S would be referred to as Tom Seagal.
Exactly.
That's what
I like that way. They all think I'm some related to your action hero type characters.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to continue to say it wrong now.
That's all right.
Seagull.
No, me? What do I do now?
No, we don't want you. I was just clarifying.
See what you started, Lee?
Can you give us some betting on the Dancy, please?
Yes, I can indeed. Cracksman is your 2-1 favourite now. Crystal Ocean has been nibbled into second favourite. 6-1, 5-1, 7-2. Now 100-30. Rekindling 5-1. Ben Battle 6-1. Exemplar 7s, and it's 10-1 bar.
You've not even mentioned my fancy.
What's your fancy?
Forest Ranger.
Go on.
It's about 16s. He won that race at Newcastle. And I think of one of the horses come out and won since that finished absolutely nowhere. Lechelar, something like that. I think I presume he's going. I think it's always been the plan, being one of those sort of type of horses. I think he would have been aimed at the Dante. And I just think he could be very, very interesting. He won quite impressively. So maybe one to keep an eye on.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on to the Middleton Stakes. We've got Queen's Trust in there. She's carrying a £3 penalty. She's taking on Somidar. What do we make of that race? Lee, let's go to you first.
We make of that. It's a fascinating race. It's a really good race, actually. You see a race like the Prix Saint Hilary on Sunday.
Sorry?
The Prix Saint Hilary
yes,
has Group 1 status. A classic trial should never have Group 1 status. This will actually have a proper Group 1 field. Queen's Trust and the other stout horse, I think, are the two most interesting ones for me in many ways. Queen's Trust because she blossomed, she was so consistent last season and then had a big day at Santa Anita. But this other horse, Smart Call, is fascinating because I wouldn't have a clue really how to translate the Group 1 South African form into what we know. But she won the J&B Met, their big race, albeit over a year ago now, so she hasn't run for a while. Really interested to see how she fares this season. Then you got Somidar, who was so impressive at this meeting last year in the Musidora. I think it's a rattling good race. I'd probably side with Somidar on the basis that she's not got a Group 1 penalty to carry. I imagine she'll be pretty fresh for it, but it's a really good contest.
I think Queen's Trust should be favourite. I really do. Even though she's got the penalty, I think the form of her win in Santa Anita was fantastic. And I think Somidar, she didn't really have any excuses when she ran in the Prix de l'Opera. And I just think, I don't know, I think the market might have it a little bit wrong. What do you think, Tom S?
Look, Queen's Trust was good in Santa Anita for sure. Somidar, I think, has got the best single piece of form. Undoubtedly, her win in the Musidora here last year over course and distance, that was really impressive. She won by 4 or 5 lengths of time, was really good. I think that puts her getting the weight as the right favourite. I think Tom, she's favourite, isn't she? Tom N, I think she's favourite, isn't she?
Yeah, can we have some betting?
Yeah, Somidar is your even money favourite at the moment. Queen's Trust is next in at 9-4, and it's 8-1 bar.
But like Lee, I'm interested in the South African horse. I think we always underestimate our horses from different parts of the continent, different parts of the world, and she has won all her races. She can only, I can't believe they brought her over because she's going to be a bit part player. They brought her over because they thought she could win Group 1s in Europe. She's got to be interesting, and I think she's a pretty big price.
We get quite a few of these sort of foreign fillies coming over. I know, how do you pronounce this? Furore de Cruzada ran quite well in a few races over here.
Yeah, she was placed in Group 1, wasn't she? She was from South America, wasn't she? I think it was
something like that.
Hasn't Haggis had a few? William Haggis had a few South African imports as well.
What was the one he ran at York last year? And then I think it went to Sandown. It did all right as well. I can't remember for the life of me. Anyway, I think you've just contradicted yourself because Smart Call makes it a really interesting race, Tom S.
There you go.
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, she's interesting. She's interesting, definitely. I'm interested to see what she does.
For me, I really like the Black Princess, who's run 2 brilliant races in France, and she actually beat Queen's Trust in the Ribblesdale last year. I think you can get about 14-1 about her. Maybe Tom Nugent can confirm that. And do you have any thoughts on this, Tom?
You've got to keep them quiet, Maddie. You're giving all the secrets away.
Well, that's the point.
No, not yet. Wait till tomorrow. No, I like the Black Princess too. I think the thing about her is she likes to make the running. York can be a good track for that. I think it'll be, provided the ground doesn't go all messy up there, which it can do if it gets rainy.
I think it's due to rain quite a lot as well. But she wouldn't mind that.
She wouldn't mind that, but it makes it difficult because she made the running last time. It makes it harder to, they go all over the track. It just makes it more of a messy race for her. On fast ground, I think she'd have a good chance.
Right, let's give Tom Nugent a chance to actually speak.
Sorry.
The Black Princess is 14-1 for your each way bet there, Maddie. The one I'd like if I was taking a pop at the top 2 is Chain of Daisies at 8-1.
She was on my list as well.
She bet Ulysses last time out at the back end of last season, and she goes well fresh. I wouldn't mind her off a break. Chain of Daisies each way.
Yeah, I think with a case of her, it's the unsexy profile of Henry Candy, and people just sort of dismiss her. But I think she could run really well. Moving on to the Duke of York and the Musidora. They're both looking really interesting contests. We've got the likes of the Tin Man, Magical Memory, Brando. And then we see Shutter Speed in the Musidora. Let's start with the sprint. Tom, can you give us any betting?
Our market has come down just at the moment for reasons unknown. I'm assuming there's some sort of a deck coming through at the minute.
They're about to happen.
I've got the Racing Post mobile app, and I've got it switched on to Paddy Power prices. Shall I do it? Shall I run through the prices?
Good.
Yes, fantastic. Let's go for it.
It's like John Tyrrell on the old Channel 4 radio.
I don't have a clue what that is.
I'm so old. So old. So Brando is Paddy Power's 3-1 favourite. Magical Memory 5-1. The Tin Man 6. Sue Edouard 8. Jungle Cat 10. And it's 12-1 bar those.
Right.
I'd imagine Brando goes in your favourite. The Tin Man gives them all £5, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Right, so Tom S., what light can you shed on the Duke of York? To be honest, I thought it was a little bit of a watching brief for me. Good race, but competitive. But
it's interesting, Maddie, because the Tin Man's in Trap 1, which I think is, I don't know if it's good or bad. It can be good to be up the middle at York these days. I think he needs a bit of cut in the ground. He's out of that Bishop and Cashel family that all like soft grounds. I think if their rain comes, I think he's still well capable of giving them £5. But the draw could be a thing here. This race nearly always goes to a horse that's had a bit of, in sort of up and running and got a bit, he's ready for a top class sprint rather than someone coming off of a break. I think Tupi's quite interesting. I thought he was really impressive at Doncaster at the start of the season.
Beat a good field that day.
Yeah, it was a decent field, wasn't it? And
for the time of year, yeah.
Yeah, he might have had a bit of a, the hands were going well. He'd been in Maidan, so he might have had a fitness advantage. But he was really impressive. I think there's still some upside from him. He's in Trap 5. I thought he was quite interesting. Brando's obviously probably the right favourite after his exploits at Ascot last back end and in the Air Gold Cup. But he's not miles ahead of him, that's for sure.
He'd like if it rained as well, wouldn't he?
I think he'd like her.
I think it's disappointing when you have a Group 2 race like this with penalties in there. I'd be all for scrapping a lot of penalties in group races because they're supposed to track the best horses, and people argue that against having group handicaps. But then you turn a race like this into, in effect, a handicap with a horse having a penalty. So I don't like that, but I do like the Tin Man. Like Tom, I think he's got the ability to defy the penalty if he's nearly cherry ripe, and I love it when James Fancher's got a good horse because he deserves to have many more. Yeah,
I think he's a fantastic trainer. Yeah, I'm not sure on the race, to be honest. Like I said, Tom Nugent, you got any strong feelings? No one's mentioned Magical Memory yet. He's obviously returning from a little injury that he had last season, but he was very talented.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too strong on anything at the moment. If I was to have a pop at the top end of the betting, I'd go maybe an each way bet with Jungle Cat, who's coming back after a stint in Dubai. He should be hard fit and
looked
ready
at
to
him.
rock. I wouldn't mind him at 10-1.
He needs it quick, doesn't he? He's just exceeding
Well,
Excel
true.
horse,
What
isn't he? He'll need it
what
fast
is the
round.
what is the forecast in the UK? Because we've had
I
a
think
lot of
it's
rain
good.
here.
It's good to firm at the minute, but I think it's due to lash it down.
Yeah, we've
It
had a
was
fair
raining
bit of
this
rain over the weekend now.
Right. Well, we'll just have to wait and see how that
Can go
plans
soft really
out.
quickly up there.
It can. Let's move on to the Musidora. Obviously, the starting point's got to be with Shutter Speed. John Gosden and Frankie Dettori seem to be winning all these Oaks trials, and perhaps she's their best. I was a bit sort of bemused to hear that they were worried about her stamina. I know she hasn't got loads in her pedigree, but she won pretty easily over a mile and 2. So I thought that was a bit bizarre. I don't know if it was just me. So yeah, let's start with you, Lee. What do you make of Shutter Speed and the rest of the Musidora runners?
I don't reckon much of the Musidora. It doesn't look a particularly hot renewal this year. Odd to have a classic trial with no Ballydoyle runner in it. It's almost unheard of, isn't it? I think, Shutter Speed, the form got a boost when Enable won the Cheshire Oaks. I just sort of listening to Teddy Grimsop after the race, it almost sounded as if they've made their mind up already that Enable is the Epsom filly and Shutter Speed is a Shanty filly. It might just be because they don't want to have two horses in the race when they can have two potential, not market leaders, but two towards the top of the market for both races. She should win. I mean, Vociferous Marina form in and out, as is often the case with Jim Bolger horses. Roger Veron's filly's got a lot to find on the book from what she's done so far. It won't take a lot of winning, I don't think. So I'd imagine Shutter Speed will win it, but I don't think she'll be going towards Epsom.
No. Tom S., let's go to you next.
It was interesting at the start of the season. Johnny Gosden, said in his inimitable style that Shutter Speed was undoubtedly his best filly, which I thought was fascinating.
See, there I go. Take the best filly to the best race.
Which was fascinating to me because he's got absolutely loads of them. And he was talking at the same time as he was talking about the Guineas horses, Daban and Dabian and Coronet, who was a bit disappointing yesterday. But he's got loads of them. He's won all the trials. He even won that one at Lingfield with a 72 rated one on Saturday. So he's got loads of them. And for him to say that she was undoubtedly the best was fascinating. So she must be very good. She must do lots right at home. She's done nothing wrong in her 2 races. I, like you, am a bit surprised she's not going to Epsom, but look, it's the family that, it's a owner breeder family, isn't it? And they tend to know these horses better than we do. And it's all 10 furlong pedigree form. It's all there for them to see that they think that she'll probably be best over 10. I don't mind her going to, that's where they think they'll win a classic and that's their best chance. I don't mind that. She can always go up to a mile and a half later on. I think that's the way she'll go. And you got to say that the horse at Chester was really impressive. I think the Aidan O'Brien horse was very well fancied that day, alluring against Enable at Chester. And I think they went miles clear. And I think they've got 2 fillies that could win the Oaks perhaps. And why not run the one that is more likely to stay?
I'm sure he's not listening, but Khalid Abdullah, can you
You
just
never know.
Can you just give it a go? Because you never know until you try, and it would make it a brilliant race. And we need some more quality in the Oaks field. I've had a look at it. I had a look at Serenada, who's actually a sister to Liber Nauticus, who won this race a few years ago. So she could be quite interesting. And I also think it's quite interesting that they're going this route with Ice Spire as well, who was a little bit quirky at Ascot, should have really won, met some trouble.
Don't think it's running, Maddie, that one. I think we're down to 5.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, we're down to 5. We've got Miss Infinity, Serenada, Shutter Speed, Vintage Folly, who was a maiden winner for Hugo Palmer last year.
I saw her, yeah.
Marina. So
Shoot the host. The host. But yeah, Vociferous Marina is very, very solid as well. But yeah, I'm with you guys, to be honest. I think Shutter Speed should win. It would be interesting to see if she did win by quite a long way, what route they did, if that would sway them at all or anything like that. But who knows? Tom Nugent, have you got any betting or... we've been through the betting. Have you got any strong opinions?
I would think, look at it, if John Gosden says Shutter Speed is his best filly, well, surely you have to listen to the man. But Vociferous Marina and the Salzable and Navan the last day was very, very impressive. Went from last to first, last at the 2 furlong post and hit the front at the line. I thought she was very, very impressive, and I'd say surprised Connections how good she was that day. She was returned in 20-1. She's earned her right to have a crack here. And she could go very, very close. I wouldn't rule her out.
Maybe she could spring a surprise. Is there anything else that anyone's looking forward to seeing at York this week? Maybe the Yorkshire Cup on Friday. Are you a big fan of those long distance races, Lee, or not?
I do love the long distance races, and I'm pleased.
Don't get him started. We'll have. Do you know what we'll have now? We'll have that. Dave, what's that? Persian Punch. We'll have him out in a minute. What else are we going to throw in here, Lee?
What do you mean? Persian Punch was a fantastic racehorse. I do like the stays races, and I'm pleased that the BHA and the European Pattern Committee have put in place plans to try and boost. Work with the 3-year-old sprint programme. That was a huge success.
No, boo,
it was.
wrong.
It was a success. Stop it.
Wrong. I tell you what, honestly, on a serious point, Lee.
Yeah.
I think that's been the worst thing for British flat racing. Those sprint things, because I think we're breeding the wrong type of horse now.
Oh,
and
no.
I think that's the problem. Why jumps racing has taken over from flat racing is because we've got proper, better horses over jumps, and on flat we're breeding these sprinty type horses for the Commonwealth Cup, which is leading us to have worse and worse.
Oh, but then we get onto the Ryanair and middle distance races like that.
Yeah, we're not getting onto them.
We're
getting onto proper jumps horses that people can go and identify with as being very good. And on the flat, we're really struggling for very good horses because they're all in the hands of one stable. You
could equally argue that there's such a clamour to breed sprinters because for the last few years, sprint races have been much easier to win. If you increase the quality with that sprint, so you have... That's
not the case, Lee. It's to do with the breeding. It's to do with... breeze up sales and stuff like that.
Yeah,
people want their horses now. They want
cheap, quick money.
That's exactly right.
So if we can try and improve the stayers programme,
we're getting more and more horses bred by cheap sires, and that's the problem. Sorry, we're going off track here.
I agree. But if we can boost the stayers programme and make those long distance races more attractive to people, then that's got to be a good thing. And that will hopefully start to counteract that.
That's my point. You're right.
And that's what they're doing. That's what they're trying to do.
That's good.
Shush.
Sorry.
I'm the host. I'm going to regain some control here. Right. Back to the stayers. I'm looking forward to seeing Simple Verse in that Yorkshire Cup because I think she should have been given a crack at distances like this before she did last season, and I think she'll not really have that many excuses this year. So hopefully she can establish herself as being well capable over that distance. Tom S., what are you looking forward to?
I love this. I'm with Lee on this. I love these races. I think this is the type of races we should be. This is what makes the flat as good as the jumps, is the diversity and the races like this. I love it. I think it's a really interesting race. I agree with you, Simple Verse. She's a strong stayer. I understand why they went down the 1.5 mile route to try and get us some, to win a great Group 1 at 1.5 miles.
It's great that she's still in training, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. It's fantastic she's still there. I think Hugo Palmer's got a very interesting horse, Crimean Tartar. He's from the family of Mizu. I think he's going to like the step up in trip. Dartmouth's in there for the Queen. Big Orange, Quest for More. It's a great race. I'm really looking forward to it. Of all the races at York this week, this is the one I like the best.
Yeah, what about you, Tom Nugent?
Yeah, always. I'm a big Orange fan. I love watching him run when he goes and takes it on from the front. So looking forward to seeing him. All right.
He's a hero, isn't he? Right. I think it's about time we took a short break.
Introducing Paddy Power's Hot Trot Jackpot, their new free-to-enter horse racing competition. Every Saturday, pick 5 horses in a free Lucky 31 bet for your chance to win the guaranteed £10,000 jackpot. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Right, welcome back. We've looked forward. Now let's look back. What did we all make of the Derby trial at Lingfield on Saturday? Best Solution won it pretty easily. What did you make, Lee?
Not a huge amount, really. I'd be very surprised if Best Solution was a potential Derby winner. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being overly downbeat, but he didn't have a Derby winner's profile beforehand. The Ballydor horse is clearly blown out. Didn't run his race, although I thought he had a high head carriage when he went at Garran the time before anyway. It's good if Godolphin go in there with Derby horses, and they've got 4 in the Dante, so they probably will do. But I can't see him winning a Derby.
They ran him on dirt, didn't they? So I almost feel like this is a bit of an afterthought of just, let's chuck him in there and see how he goes. He was quite impressive, but I'm with you, I think. Tom S., what did you make of the Lingfield Derby trial?
Look, it wasn't brilliant, was he? I mean, it wasn't a brilliant race, but he gave... going back to Lee's point about penalties, he did have a penalty. He did have a group penalty there, so he was giving way to, and he did win easily. He's sort of goes against my rant I just had earlier, because he's by Kodiak. He's by one of those sprint sides that I hate so much. So, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree there. But I'd be surprised if he was a Derby winner, considering he's lost... he's won 3 of his 9 races, and he's lost more. Every time he's been in top company, he's got beaten. So can't really see it, but he's won nearly over the Derby trip. He's beaten, he's won his trial under a penalty by 4 lengths. He's got every right to be there. That's for sure.
I agree. I'm turning into a bit of a pedigree connoisseur today, but I'd be looking behind at Tartini for the Ledger, maybe. He's half-brother to Fort Worthy, Lucano, who won the Ledger, and Flying Officer. He was a really good staying horse. I think he could be one for the Ledger. And maybe Glen Cadam Glory. I think he could run all right in something at Ascot or something like that. He totally blew the start at Sandown before he ran, and he was quite eye-catching again. But yeah, I think I'd focus on those behind rather than the winner. Tom Nugent, did you have a strong view?
The traders were adequately impressed with Best Solution. He went from 25-1 into 10-1 now, 4th favourite for the Derby. But I would say that market, the Derby market at the moment, is screaming out for something to win the Dante Impressively and kind of grab the betting by the scruff of the neck. I'd say there could be a fair old reshuffle if something was to win the Dante Impressively.
Right, let's move on to Ascot. It's Saturday. Did anyone back anything, have any strong opinions on the Victoria Cup? I just sort of left it alone.
Yeah, I didn't have a bet. I thought the winner was impressive in the sense that when the gap came just inside the final furlong, that horse really quickened up. So, and there was a lot of confidence in the Haggis camp beforehand as well. I thought he won it like a decent horse.
Yeah, my thoughts on this race go to Martin Dwyer, who gave Zhui Feng a brilliant ride. I just thought it was a really enterprising ride. It was really nice to watch. What about you, Tom? Anything at Ascot catch your eye?
Well, Fastnet Tempest will probably win the Wokingham. I think William Haggis, before I get in trouble, has been running him over the wrong trip for many times. He's been running over Marlon Cry. I think he's a sprinter. I think we saw that in the Newbury Spring Cup. I think dropping back to 7 was a big help here. But what I would say about the race, it was one of the most ridiculous draw races I think I've ever seen. I mean, it was absurd. 18, 20...
Positive as always, Tom.
No, but look at it. Look at you. I mean, I'm not... It's just there. Look, Trap 18 beat Trap 23. Zung Frey, as you say. Martin Dwyer, great ride. Trap 11. 26, 20, 27, 24, 25, 22. They're the first 10. It's completely obvious that it was a massive draw race. And if you were drawn, 15 or below and didn't make the running, you had absolutely no chance. That doesn't mean to say that Fastnet Tempest isn't a good horse, because I think he is. I agree with you entirely that he was miles better than these. And I think even dropping further back in trip to the Wokingham, I think we'll see a better horse again. So while the result, if you look at it on paper, is absurd, I do think that the winner is very good.
I'm just going to put a quick note in there and say on Friday at Ascot, I liked Mrs. Gallagher, who won the 5 furlong fillies maiden. 3 of them finished about a neck within each other, and I think that could be quite a nice race to watch. Tom Nugent, wasn't Fastnet Tempest quite really well backed before the Victoria Cup?
I'd say, probably helped by a good, decent interview on ITV just before the race went off. But yeah, no, nothing really for me eye-catching out of Ascot. I was too busy having seconds at the communion that I was at that stage.
Just on the Ascot thing, you mentioned Friday night. Jeremy Seeder won a hot 7 furlong handicap with a horse called Winning Ways, who looked really impressive. Then on Saturday, a period of Roger Varians. Could see that one in the Duke of Edinburgh after his win in the first.
Indeed.
Mm.
And Godolphin had a 2-year-old Akabar made his debut. And loved the way he finished off to win there. So that's 3 names from Ascot.
Notebook filled, thanks to Lee.
Oh.
Right, back to Tom N's sort of corner. Back to the Curragh over the weekend. What did we make of Turret Rocks and Acapulco? Anything catch your eye at the Curragh, Tom?
Turret Rocks, fine. I thought
the most inspiring of statements.
I thought Craig's Pipes ran an absolute blinder in behind. I'd say nearly a career best. Ran a really good race. Acapulco was good. I'd say more to come. The one that caught my eye in the fillies maiden on Saturday was a filly called New Terms, who was just beaten half a length. Her dam was a Matron Stakes and a Nassau winner called Favourable Terms, and she could be handy if she was stepped up a little bit. New Terms was the eye catcher at the Curragh for me.
I like Night of Glory, who won a 1 mile 2 furlong maiden. I think Connections rated him quite a lot, and he could be sort of a staying handicapper to watch. Tom, anything at the Curragh?
Didn't see much of it, to be honest, Maddie, but what I did notice was that the 2-year-old, Gordon Elliott, won a 2-year-old race for the Nick Bradley Racing. I thought that's fascinating, that tie-up there. Beckford was the name of the horse. It was a 6-furlong maiden. I think it was the first 6-furlong maiden. He won very easily. Be very interesting to see how he does with these flat horses, because he's a brilliant trainer. And I think, those 2-year-olds, I think he's got about 15 of them. I think those 2-year-olds are really fascinating aspect of the flat season this year.
A few of the jumps guys are starting to dip their toe. I think Henry de Bromhead has his biggest flat string ever this year as well. I think he's a couple of 2-year-olds. I think I heard Paddy Power saying that earlier today, or earlier a couple of weeks ago. So a few of them are starting to get stuck into it, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy week for racing. We've had it all over the place. It's been brilliant, a bit hectic. Deauville at the weekend, I loved both the classics. I thought they were both brilliant. They ran like proper races, unlike maybe ours, which I've already said that I got a bit annoyed at in our 2000 guineas. Lee, what did we make of the French action?
Yeah, good stuff. I thought the 2,000 guineas was a race that impressed me more than the 1,000 guineas. I thought the first 3 in the Poulain will probably confirm themselves to be proper Group 1 horses. Winner looked smart. Bramato didn't necessarily do anything that quickly, but then he got on top close home.
I think that's just his style of racing,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah,
it takes a while. I thought Andre Farb's horse in second, whose name escapes me, but was very lightly raced beforehand.
Le Bravrido.
Yeah,
there we go.
I mean, he's going to be good. I thought there was loads to like for William Haggis about Rivet as well. And I like the idea that they're going to step up in trip now for the Jockey Club, although unfortunately that looks like it's going to be a really good race with the winner and Al Waka as well from the Guineas. But yeah, no, I thought the Poulain was good, and Sebetsu was impressive too in the what shouldn't be the Group 1's Prix Saint-Hilary.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Deauville. I thought it was brilliant. Tom Seagull. Did you did you look at anything and think, wow, after Deauville?
I did. I thought both. I thought the.
Don't you dare mention this horse that I'm going to mention.
Well,
there's your warning.
No, I don't think I will. I mean, I'm just looking at the winners. I thought the winner of the Poulain, I always get them mixed up, was incredibly impressive, because he was drawn in trap 3 and all the pace was on the far side. He beat his side by miles. I thought he was at a massive pace disadvantage from miles out, and he did exceptionally well to win. The Rouget horses, I don't think are flying. I don't think he's anywhere near his best yet. He was super impressive. The same was the case with Olivier Pellier horse in the Fillies race, but I loved Sebetsu. I loved her. I thought she should be almost favourite for the Oaks on the back of that, on terms of pure form. She was drawn out wide. She was rushed up by William Buick, and she still went miles clear of a Group 1 field. Sorry, Lee. But I thought that was the best form of any, bar the 1,000 guineas, of anything so far, of any of the trials. I cannot believe she was a double figure. I don't know what price she is now, but I thought that was super impressive for me. The only doubt I've got is whether... No.
But that's their doubt, isn't it?
Yeah, massive doubt.
They are.
Yeah, but it'll be always well watered at Epsom. The ground's not an issue for me. It'll never be fast ground for Oaks Day ever. Again, I doubt. I think the issue is whether Godolphin she'll back up, because Godolphin have a history of horses looking so impressive in their trial and not backing up in the big race. That would be my worry for her. In terms of ability, I think she's right up there with the best of them.
Right, Tom, and how did they react to Sebetsu's win and indeed the other trials?
Into 12-1 for Sebetsu at the moment for the Epsom Oaks.
See, to me, it's amazing. She wins a Group 1 by 4 lengths, having been rushed out the outside, and she's the same price as some, or short, and a horse wins the Chester Vase, or whatever it's called, the Cheshire Oaks from Trap 1, not going around another horse, and she's half the price. To me, that's madness, but look, you guys get it right more than I do these days.
Have you steamed in?
I have. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've had a few quid on. Yeah.
There we go. We know what happened last time when you mentioned winter. So
yeah, that was O'Brien.
Well, yeah.
That was Aidan. I thought, that's my worry. But look, price is everything, isn't it? And she's a big price. Right.
I'm going to cross sort of that question and the next question over. I'm going to ask you all about who really caught your eye, basically, this weekend or at Chester. And mine, and I'm so glad no one's mentioned it, is Signs of Blessing in the sprint. He gave £11 to Profitable. Yeah. And he just looked an absolute machine. He had some really good form last year, but I think he's the sort of horse who, when he finds that I don't know if it's a time of year thing or ground. I mean, he's won on good ground, but I think he likes soft. And I still think he's quite a big price for the King's Stand. And as well, he followed in the footsteps of what Marsha did in winning with a penalty. And I just thought he is overpriced. So he's the one for me who caught my eye. And I think you should watch him.
Okay, makes sense, that.
What about you, Lee?
So I'd say a peer that also mentioned of Roger Varians. Really liked him at Ascot on Saturday. And there was one of Stout's, won a handicap at Chester midweek. It was odds-on favourite, K-Rap, but won it really impressively. And he's just the sort of horse that Stout will run riot with. Fantastic.
Tom?
Are we allowed to mention my favourite meeting, Chester?
Yes, you are. Go
Good,
ahead.
I love Chester. My favourite of all. I am going to mention the horse that won the D Stakes because I think he is going to be miles better than he showed that day. I thought Cliffs of Moher looked a bit sluggish, looked a bit sleepy in the D Stakes, but I think he's going to end up being their number one for the Derby myself.
Is this Venice Beach?
No, it's the D Stakes winner, Cliffs of Moher.
Oh, I thought you said he was sluggish.
He was a bit sluggish.
I love him.
He was pushed along. He was pushed around. But I think, reading between the lines, that when I saw he was running in the D Stakes, I thought, this is Aidan. I know Aidan. The reason he's running here is because he thinks that he has stamina limitations. He's running over 1.25 miles around Chester because there's that he's similarly bred to Churchill, that there might be a chance that he's not 1.5 mile horse. Listening to him afterwards, it was quite clear that he'd only just got him there and he didn't think he was anywhere near ready. I think he's going to be a totally different horse come Derby Day, and I loved him in the run out. They couldn't pull him up. That's twice he's run when he's won both his races, and he's almost run around the track again. I think there's so much more to come from him. I think he's a bona fide Derby contender myself. I don't like the Chester Vase form. I don't like anything like as much the Lingfield form. I think if Aidan O'Brien wins the Derby and Churchill doesn't turn up, it will be with him.
He'll beat Churchill, in my opinion. I love Cliffs of Moher. Can't believe we've not mentioned him yet. Anyway, before we get onto that whole discussion, let's go to Tom N. What was the main horse to catch your eye?
Aside from new terms in the car, Laganor, I thought, ran a decent race in behind Turret Rocks in the Blue Wind. I think if she got quick ground, she could win a pattern race this term.
Fab. See, nice and concise. Tom S., you get hours worth. Right, competition time now. Every week in the Monday Postcast and the Football Postcast on Thursday, our sponsors, Paddy Power, will give listeners chance to win the free 25 or 25 euro bet. Simply tweet the answer to the upcoming question with the hashtag Postcast, and if it's correct, your name will be drawn out of the hat, and you will be the winner. Today's question is this: which horse won the Betfred Lingfield Derby trial on Saturday? The winner will be announced on Friday's Weekend Tipping Postcast. Good luck.
Introducing Paddy Power's Hot Trot Jackpot, their new free-to-enter horse racing competition. Every Saturday, pick 5 horses in a free Lucky 31 bet for your chance to win the guaranteed £10,000 jackpot. T&Cs apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Right, let's storm through the rest of this then. We've got the Lock-Hinge on Saturday. I've already mentioned Alice Springs, I think, in last week's postcast. I'm not sure if she goes yet. Lee, what do you make of the Lock-Hinge?
Do you want me to say what's been left in the race? We've just had the forfeits through.
Fantastic. Let's go for it.
Down the card, still in the Lock-Hinge, Acclaim.
She won't be in, will she?
She's not in.
Gutted.
Acclaim, Breton Rock, Cougar Mountain, Dicton, Dutch Connection, Anard, Galileo Gold, Lightning Spear, Mitcham Swagger, Ribchester, Toscanini, and Somehow.
Oh.
I can't change it.
What do you make of that lot then, Lee?
What do you make of it?
I think it's a little bit disappointing, isn't it?
There we go.
Come on.
Well, I mean, we've got Galileo Gold and Ribchester rematch, I guess. You've got Somehow was impressive last time.
I love the Lightning Spear, Lee. I love the Lightning
He's
Spear.
not in, is he?
He is, yeah, no, Lightning
he'd
Spear.
be the one for me then.
Okay.
I think he should have won or gone very close to beating Minding in the QE2 last time. I think it was just a complete mess up from start to finish. They went the wrong way. There was a big draw advantage on the far side. They came near side. He was only beaten a few lengths. He's a really, really good horse when things go his way. First time up, a bit worried about him, but I think in terms of ability, I'd have him in front of Galileo Gold, that's for sure.
Right, that's me and Tom with Lightning Spear. Who for you, Lee, quickly?
Ribchester quickly.
Ribchester. What about you, Tom N?
We spoke about this race last week and I said Ribchester and I'll stick with him.
Right, we're divided then. We'll see how that goes. Does anyone expect any major restructuring of the Derby or Oaks markets this week? We've sort of covered it. If Cracksman maybe not with what Anthony Oppenheimer's had to say, but if he comes out and absolutely storms clear in the Dante, maybe that will make an impact. What do we reckon,
the
Lee?
Dante's the key, Alice. Maddie. Alice Springs. I've got it on my head now. I've got it on my head now. Alice Springs. I think that's the key, isn't it? Because you've got the stout horse that they've had money for. You've got Cracksman in there. You'll have an Aiden horse in there. Yeah. If something wins that impressively, he'll almost certainly be favourite, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhododendron, you must be chuffed with your bet.
I finally gave in to temptation and backed her on Saturday morning at 5-2 for the Oaks.
Fantastic.
I gave in.
Right, last minute, quick fire, best bets for the week. Go, Lee.
Swiftsure, Horse of Stouties for the Queen in a handicap at York on Friday.
Fabulous. Tom S.
Deary me, that's thrown one. I like those 5 furlong sprint handicaps. I was very impressed with the horse of David O'Meara's that won at Lingfield during the week, Edward Lewis. I think he's due to run at York somewhere where the Cherina has a very good record.
Tom Nugent.
Rekindling each way for the Derby. I think if he goes close in the Dante, that'll shorten up big
it's
time.
For the week or the weekend ahead.
Okay, right. Okay, sorry. Well, you can still
you can have it for the Dante.
You can have that bet between Monday and Friday still for the Derby.
True. Mine would be Forest Ranger in the Dante. Big price. Just think he might be worth having a go. Just a quick reminder of our competition. The question is, which horse won the Betfred Derby trial at Lingfield on Saturday? We've mentioned him already. The winner will be announced in Friday's Postcast. All the best. Don't forget to rate the Postcast and subscribe on iTunes. Thank you, Lee, for joining us. Thank you, both Toms. We're going to try and eliminate any name confusion from now on. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Monday.
Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.